pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll do roll call. Myers here, Holm here, Imhoff here, Burnwald here, Clark Hubbard is here. Everybody should have a copy of the agenda. Any changes or additions to the agenda? And if not, can we get a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there support? Motion's been made and supported to approve the agenda. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next thing is approval of past meeting minutes from the regular meeting on January 13th and the special meeting on January 30th. Everybody should have had copies of this ahead of time to look over. Any questions, changes, anything noted in the minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 13th and January 30th?
I make a motion
Guess
to.
not.
I make a motion to approve the meeting from January 20th and
No,
13th.
January
January
13th
13th,
January
because you weren't
13th.
paying attention.
and January 30th.
and January 30th.
Meeting minutes, okay. Is there support for that?
Support.
Motion is made and supported to approve the meeting minutes from January 13th and January 30th. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment on agenda items only. Oh.
Don't have an agenda. But no, we're good.
You didn't get one?
No.
You want one? Yeah.
I printed mine off.
Okay.
Would you like that agenda?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
Did you
All
want
right.
one, Jenny?
Hearing none,
We'll let you pass this
we'll
one.
go ahead and close, public comment. Treasurer's report with Jamie.
Okay, the general account beginning balance was $249,022 with an income of $96,048, expenses of $44,286, giving an ending balance of $300,783. The fire district account beginning balance was $28,292 with income of $35,890 for an ending balance of $64,182. Honeymoon Heights Lights account had a beginning balance of $6,820 with an income of $1,929, giving an ending balance of $8,749. The CDs, 301 has a complete balance of, because there's no interest, it's quarterly, of $58,531. CD 302 has a balance of $58,536. And CD 303 has a balance of $50,421. The tax account had a beginning balance of $123,838 with income of $610,355, expenses of $599,782 for an ending balance of $134,411.
Thank you. Any questions for Jamie on the treasurer's report? Just to confirm, so this Friday is the 14th, I think, so that's the last day to pay taxes without penalty and interest. Yep. And then we'll continue collecting till the 28th, at which point everything goes to the county.
Yep.
Okay, Any other questions for Jamie? Is there a motion to approve treasurer's report?
I move we approve the treasurer's report.
Is there
Support.
Support, all right, motion's been made and supported to approve the treasurer's report. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Clerk's report, February bills list. So everybody should have got a copy, updated copy of this, on table in your materials. We did get the final invoice from BHS Insurance, or the power plan. We thought it was gonna be around $800 for the month of January. We did cancel that effective February 1st, so everything's all, in place with MML, for both our, liability and property insurance and our workers' comp. So BHS, we did have that monthly, amount for January due, $815.77. And then we should also be getting a refund from, auto owners, cause that workers' comp policy runs through May. And that's since been canceled too, but that hasn't come yet, but it should be around, I think, $200 and some dollars. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on. There are two, Foster Swift invoices, one for the 5/27 that's our second invoice related to the, appeal of PA 233. I had to talk to our attorney on a zoning matter, so I just asked her about, where things were at. She said that first invoice was like $1,000 that we paid before related to the appeal, and she said none of them after that that was to get their whole brief filed to start with, so things are gonna probably progress slowly, she said, and I do have an update, to give on that, but that's the first invoice, and then the second one was $486, that was, related to some zoning, questions we had. And then BC3, we did have to, void a check because they said they didn't receive it, and we reissued check 15454. Mercantile was really, good to work with and waived the stop payment fee on the other one. That was, otherwise it would have been $30, so they worked with us on that. So we should be caught up with BC3. We just are also paying the January invoice, check 15463, so we should be getting another one here, and then once we get to the end of tax season here, we'll decide when we can put them on. We don't wanna be paying the $600 a month, and we have a temporary plan, where we can do manual backups until we get our plan in place, so just a quick update on that. Any other questions on the bills? And you'll notice we do have our two amounts for the, MML property and liability and the workers' comp. There's no other discussion, is there a motion to approve the February bills listing?
Make a motion to approve the February bills and listings.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion has been made and supported, is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call. Myers?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Imhoff?
Yes.
Bernwald?
Yes.
Clark Hubbard, yes, motion carries. Let's see. Probably not a lot for elections update, other than it's Tuesday, May 6th. And you're looking at potentially applying for a grant for a backup laptop.
And I don't know if did I give you a packet that I printed out? Cause I didn't know if you printed everything out or not.
I just got the fire district stuff.
Yeah, cause I printed the fire stuff that I got this time, so everybody could have a look at, like, what their budget
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, we can go over that when we get to, anything else on election?
Oh, nope, nope.
If you want, we can start moving fire up there, cause that is your.
Yeah, we could.
Kind of always, I'll note that going forward.
No, that's fine the way it is. It's fine. Yep.
Alright.
But did you get one of these? Did I give you that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. Oh, and the logo, that was the other thing,
Okay, that I don't.
and you don't need
over here, these guys have looked at it. What I'm going to do, this is a work in progress, because I think it's pretty important that we get something that fits us and something that everybody likes. So I ran this off, and this has got examples of everybody else's, pretty much. And then I did 2 pages of some different ideas this time, and I'd like you guys to look at them. I think everybody else has, but you 3. And you too, Dave. Definitely, because I'd like as many people as I could to kind of look them over, not right now, but later, and let me know what your ideas are. Then next month, I'll pick the 3 top ideas or whatever, and then expand on those again and see if we can work towards getting something that would be for a letterhead is one of the things, and then also I'd like to get something eventually right up here for the wall. And we can talk about that later, but we have to have the logo first. And if we get a website, we definitely need it for the website.
Okay.
Cause I'm tired of Lakeview Villages all over our website, so that's it.
Okay. Other reports, zoning administration, Dave?
For the month of January at 11061 Lake Street, home and a storage building at 11650 Elm Drive, a 12 by 16 deck. That's all for the permits. Now on 6685 Hemlock, they're in default with blight. It started in 10/22 of 24. I don't know when I issued the last ticket, but I'll go ahead and issue another one if I'll go through my files. At 7106 Color, still Rasmussen's working with the homeowner on that one. I haven't heard any update. I know the homeowner's trying to get it back in his name because he sold the land contract, and Rasmussen's helping him to get all the paperwork squared away so the original owner can clean that up. And 11589 Juniper, that's still ongoing. On the 12th of January, I issued another ticket, and his fines are up to $785 now. The Hemlock's up to $260, and every time I issue another ticket, they add to the fine.
What was the one for Juniper? How much?
Juniper was $785.
Any questions for Dave on the zoning report? I did get, and I don't know, Dave, were you on this email? The sheriff sent out to all the supervisors on February 6th, the county junk ordinance. So it says, supervisors, I know all of you at one point or another have struggled with blight in your respective townships. We've taken approximately 163 complaints over the past few years for violations of the county junk ordinance. The majority of those were brought into compliance, most voluntarily, but some with citations. I recently met with our new prosecutor to discuss the issue and also the use of our county ordinance to address it. He feels that we can no longer enforce this ordinance, and Michigan law places responsibility for these types of issues with the townships. As a result, the sheriff's office is stopping our county junk ordinance enforcement effective immediately. Neither Prosecutor Ginster nor I have a desire to abandon you on this issue. We are open to meeting to discuss other options to assist in getting the problem under control. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. So we have our own, so that doesn't really affect us, I guess.
No, they didn't do anything anyway.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure.
That's just my opinion.
Right. So I just wanted to make sure that there really shouldn't be an impact for us on that. And then Marcy Land Divisions?
Working with one family, 91 here. They haven't made out their application yet, but we're in communication, and I believe it's something they want to do, but there's a little bit of a process beyond that. But yeah, just one right now.
Okay. And that is the one that applied for the use, we determined it was a use variance with the in-law suite.
Yeah, for the barn, yeah.
Marcy was going to get in touch with them, some questions on the land division, but they're gonna need to reapply with you with the new setbacks that they're proposing, and
Yes, and I did put a email into them, today, because they sent me their surveys.
Mhm.
The survey's been done, but I did make a comment that they need to make sure with you that everything that they need beyond what I'm doing, because they are gonna go and see if they can get variance for property line setbacks, so, so from what I see, mine will be approved with that condition, that they do get their variance, so, and I'm assuming yours probably gonna be the same.
Yeah, normally what I do is I deny it, then it goes to the ZBA, and the ZBA they overrule me, so if they say, well, yes, it's okay to do it, then I approve it on that same permit, cross off the denied, put my name below it.
Okay, so,
And I state that the ZBA and this date said,
You'll just need that application updated with setbacks, cause they wouldn't have had those when they first applied with you, cause they weren't
right,
proposing.
cause it's
Yeah.
it's a new
Yeah.
division.
Yep.
So, okay.
Alright, thank you. Planning Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, Planning Commission, Dave?
Well, we haven't had a meeting since our last one, March 12th is our next meeting.
I did talk to McKenna, told him after we had our special meeting had approved their quote, and he asked me to send him a copy of the existing zoning map, and, I sent that over, and he said he can attend the March meeting. They talk about both the lake residential boundaries, what that would look like, and also just getting the updated zoning map that's a little more clear. And then just, Dave, you had brought up, you know, these, kind of this accessory dwelling units are becoming a hot topic.
according to the county, other townships, they're requesting that or in-law suites, both tiny homes and in-law suites, which tiny homes, basically, they're still on a foundation and all, but they go by the minimum square footage is usually, like a lot of townships have 800, 850. Douglas recently put theirs down to, months ago, put it down to 500 square feet. Belvedere put theirs down to 360 square feet, which I think is too small, but, I don't have control over that. I called the county, today it was, and asked what the county's requirements were. They said whatever the township does, they'll disregard theirs and approve it for what we have. But I asked them their square footage, and it came out to, oh my gosh, it was like 200 square feet.
For like townships that don't have zoning, that they would
Yeah.
have to go with the.
Yeah, or even us, what the heck was it, like the kitchen had to be at least 6 feet on each side of the sink, and then the sink width, and that's it. He didn't say how far across, I'm assuming 6 feet. The bathroom, oh my gosh, it's tiny, it's super small, and, the bedroom has to be at least 7 foot by 7 foot, which I guess you can squeeze a bed in there, barely. So anyway, theirs is so, I was wondering how much, so if the township could use theirs as a guidance, but my opinion is it's too small, but.
Well, I just wanted to I know the planning commission's kinda got a full plate for a while with the lake residential boundaries and stuff, but it does seem like this is kinda coming up more and more, so just maybe add it to the list of potential items in the future.
Yeah, there's gonna be a gentleman who called me that's gonna be one put on the agenda, for, I believe, our March meeting. He's been here before about, creating like the tiny home subdivision right there on 91.
We're at 46.
46.
Or 46, sorry, 46, yes, so he's gonna be in again to talk to us, just,
I don't know, I guess we'll have to figure out, if the planner's there, maybe we could give him I don't know how much time he's gonna be needing, but you guys will have to, if he puts a request in for that. If our planners-
he was saying to come here, but should I steer him to the planning commission about this?
Yeah, I would think
Okay.
so, but I just don't, they're not
Okay.
gonna be able to probably put a bunch of,
Right,
discussion on it when we have our planner there, I guess is what I'm saying.
oh, got it,
So, but, he's welcome to, if you guys give him whatever, 5-10 minutes or something after, go through your planner stuff.
We've heard of
He's
them.
charging by the
If.
Okay. Okay, planning commission, zoning board of appeals, we have a special meeting, public hearing, all scheduled and noticed for February 21st at 5 p.m. Had a variance request for, reduced property line setbacks and increased height limit for a sawmill. So that's all set to go. And then in our new business, we have, filling the third regular member, seat on the zoning board of appeals, so we'll hold off on that. And now, fire district, Ginger's update on that. Like you said, you provided some really good info.
Yeah, I just gave everybody most of the stuff that I got. Talked to Andy and she wasn't getting any of this. So I thought, you know what, the board might like to see it once a year or something and get some idea of where the money's going and what they're spending it on. And there's a copy like of what the chief's report, I tried to condense it down so it wasn't quite so many pages. And, this time they were telling us talked a little bit about, they have 2 new recruits, one is in the training right now. And I was surprised that they said there's about 6 people that will come on and start the program and then quit it because finding out that it's just too much. It is a lot. And, so they just talked a little bit about that. But right now they have a total, I was shocked, of 47 firefighters between, Maple Valley and yeah, Lakeview. They sent us, I'm so impressed with the things that they're doing and some of the ways that they handle some of this and their grants and the organization behind it. It took me a couple of months to really understand where different things were coming from and how it all worked. But, they're really delegating a lot of the things that they need to do. And I was just really impressed. So this month everybody got one of these. I don't know, if you have a farm with lots of chemicals or a business, they have asked you to do a site plan. This is the one I did for us. And it shows like the view of where our electricity comes in and where our gas comes in. And we didn't have any chemicals, but there was a big list of what to do if you had chemicals, and so they will know that all ahead of time before there's ever a fire. And then the neat thing is that they upload this to an app, and that app, then when they get paged out on their cell phones, cause now all this stuff is on their cell phones. Except in the fire trucks, they have little computers or like iPads or tablets or whatever. And so when this stuff gets paged out, instead of having those old pagers, they just get an alert on their phone. And it comes right up, and this will pop right up, they'll scan these in there, and it'll pop right up, and they'll know exactly what to do. They have
If there's an emergency at that specific location, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so if there's a fire, if there's a fire, and chemicals especially,
Right.
during a fire, there's some chemicals you don't wanna put water on. You know, and they're also for the firefighters' protection, knowing which chemicals are there and what they have to be careful about and things like that. They ask for like emergency numbers, and, so I gave them like personal phone numbers too, because this, you know, and business numbers, but I'm just better at answering my phone.
I think that's a lot of good information you provided there.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And they're gonna be on call out here for the fire, for the fishing thing, and they're gonna do the parade, and they've got water that they're donating, and they're gonna have all their ice rescue equipment out there on display, and all firefighters are coming, so they're making a really good, you know, presence for that, which I thought was pretty neat. And then they also are doing a thing about, automatic aid. For years, we've had a contract with Montcalm Township and paid them $3,500 a year for automatic aid, which means if there's a fire with automatic aid, both places will get called, Lakeview and Montcalm Township, at the same time. Versus mutual aid is when Lakeview would go to a fire, and then they would say, oh, we need somebody else, so send them too. And before Maple Valley got into this, Lakeview, it was a stretch for Lakeview to cover the southern part of Pine Township and Maple Valley, you know, in that area. So Montcalm, that was the whole idea, is then Montcalm would cover that at the same time Lakeview did, and Montcalm usually got there quicker. So this week, they decided that, they made a motion to switch it, so we don't pay them the $3,500 anymore. We cover, now since we have Maple Valley, we can also cover part of Montcalm Township on automatic aid instead of just mutual aid, because clearly automatic aid is great because they get there instantly rather than, and that makes such a neat idea that they came up with this whole deal. It kind of started with the fire in Truett, when someplace in Truett just burned.
Restaurant.
That restaurant that burned. So it's a pretty good situation that they've got going on there now, to where they all work together. And I can tell you that all of the other fire departments are very jealous of Lakeview District Fire Department because they have so much stuff. And they were talking about how, like a year and a half ago, the county sent out this grant saying that if you guys want radios, the really nice radios, let us know how many you want, and according to what we can give you, we will give to you. Well, Lakeview ended up getting like one for almost every firefighter. It was just, they were so surprised. They couldn't believe it. They had more than what they even need, and they're very expensive. And nobody else, all the townships now say, how come you guys got all those? Nobody else responded to follow through with the grant. So they do really good with doing that kind of stuff, and they have a lot of equipment. So, and I can judge from what it used to be like to what it is now, and I'm really impressed.
Well,
So,
again, that's a really good update, and appreciate the extra effort there to update the board. Moving into the supervisor's report and the assessing department. Let's see here. So I announced these last month, but March board of review dates, Tuesday, March 4th, 11 a.m. is the organizational meeting. Monday, March 10th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. is appeals hearing number 1. Tuesday, March 11th is appeals hearing number 2 from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And those will get published a week in advance in newspaper. This month has to go in 3 successive issues, and we'll be putting that in the daily news. So I'll be working on that. Board of review members had training last week. That's complete. Did talk to Assessor Andy Ross, and assessment notices are all set to go out. They had to be to KCI, I think he said Wednesday, sometime this week, but get to KCI to get mailed out the annual assessment notices that go out to all parcels. Roads, so the road commission is working on giving us some proposed contracts for several roads. We are hoping to have those, they said we would have them by March, but just to kind of give a real, I don't want to get too far in detail, but they really recommended that we do 2 miles of work on Youngman and 2 miles of work on Vale. Put this over. I guess strike the 2 miles. I have to verify that, but I know they want to do work on Vale, Youngman, and then Nimberger and possibly Cutler Road, by Town Line Lake, but they're putting forth $100,000 from the county's, allocating $100,000, we have to match $100,000, so we need to make sure we stay within our budget, so we did ask them to quote, Cutler also. Yeah, did we get them all? Vale, Youngman,
You get Cutler to Gravel Ridge from Newburgh.
oh yeah, Cutler from Gravel Ridge to Nimberger, because Nimberger, that corner needs some work. Possibly gravel on Fitzner, did we have?
Yeah, we kinda scratched that one.
Scratch that
What we're gonna do.
Okay, we'll have more information at the next meeting, but they're going to, be providing the proposals, and we can get those out to everybody, but. So anyways, more to come on roads.
Chloride was the same.
Yeah, chloride costs is gonna be the same. Cemetery update, there have been a couple burials, recently, we're talking to Brian. Legal update, so, on January 14th, I did get an email update, from Foster Swift, on the PA 233 appeal. Just to give a progress update on the case, on January 3rd, our legal team filed its brief, on appeal. This brief outlines our strong arguments, against the Michigan Public Service Commission's unlawful reconstruction of PA 233, which undermines its intended purposes and impacts our municipalities. The court, did, deny their motion for a stay on any, development pending appeal, but they are still confident that their arguments will resonate with the court, and ultimately lead to a resolution that upholds the integrity of PA 233. They do not feel that decision to not grant the stay, is a decision on the merits of the case. And they, talking to our attorney, she did say they've had another like 40 townships in addition to the 70 that have adopted resolutions of support. So there's a lot of, municipalities that have joined, in some form or another, either on the appeal or in resolutions of support, so. But she did say it's just kind of based on how the paperwork's been moving through the system, it's probably going to be, the drawn out, as far as, when this kind of works through. So update on that. Trail, and then upcoming events. MTA Montcalm chapter meeting for February 18th. 6:00 p.m. It's gonna be at the American Legion in Stanton, and the speaker is going to be Todd Sattler from the Montcalm County Drain Commission. Reservations are due by this Thursday, February 13th at 2 p.m. So, if you would like to attend, then, we need to, RSVP by 2 o'clock. And the cost has gone up, $15 per person to $20 per person, for this new 2025 year. So please let me know if you plan on attending, and we'll get that RSVP in. And then, of course, the MTA Annual Educational Conference and Expo, again, that's March 31st through April 3rd in Grand Rapids this year. So just keep an eye on that if you'd like to attend. And then also mentioned it previously, but the ice fishing tournament is this Friday here on Tamarack Lake, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that is it on the supervisor report. We have no old business and just 2 fairly quick items in new business. So we did have a request. I think they reached out to Jamie for wondering if we'd waive the rental fee for a Little Miss Lakeview pageant or something. Lakeview pageant. I think we need to kind of, as a board, decide what we're doing here, because I think once you start a slippery slope, you start getting more and more requests. And in the past, my understanding was that, we have waived the fee for the Summerfest when they let vendors in here and the Winterfest for bringing in vendors, because it's a community-wide event where everybody in theory could, you know, want, potentially be interested. We did have, what was it, a job fair that asked, and
For
recently.
the corrections officers.
We did, yeah, we did, but I don't know, what's the board's thoughts on this? I kinda feel like we should limit this to,
I agree.
again, if it's this community-wide, 2 times a year, community-wide event, I think we need to, that's my feeling, limit it to that. Otherwise, it kind of is a slippery slope.
Right, I agree with you.
I second that. Was that a motion?
I make a motion. You're saying that those two events, because
Yeah.
of the community events?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. And then beyond that, I agree that I think that we should not,
Yeah, and it's not
Agree
like,
to that.
it's a fairly reasonable fee, $50.
Right.
it's a very.
Fee plus $50 deposit, which you get back if everything's, you know, so. So do we wanna make a motion that we
Right.
approve the,
Make a motion that we allow the 2 community events, for no fee.
but a deposit?
Just the deposit, yes, but beyond that, I think that we should have them pay the fee to all others.
I'll support that. Motion's been made and supported, is there further discussion?
I mean, because we, as a board, we pay to use the facility, and we're Cato Township. So I think that, yeah, I think just the 2, in my opinion, is.
We're really booked. I was looking at it today. Isn't it, did you notice, I think you were telling me about it, and I looked at it today, and so I made sure I got in there and reserved it for the election. But I mean, I think it's every week in March and like 2 weeks in April already.
I think it's already been reserved for Christmas too.
Yeah,
It
and
sounds
there's even some during the week.
Which kind of brings up, the other discussion of we really, and this came up during when we looked at our insurances and talking to Diane, we need to update that rental agreement. It's just too basic and it needs to be a little more thorough.
And update the price, in my opinion.
And, yeah, the price probably hasn't gone up in a long time, and, you know, we're paying for the cleaning service, we're paying for the utilities, we're, you know, so.
And then also, obviously, the library has handled, all this. Do you think that we should ourselves?
We can take it back, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Or at least approve the one.
I guess, it's nice that they have regular hours every day, I guess, when people call. And I think they like withhold like, it's like a small fee once a year from us, like, I don't know,
oh, it's not per.
It's $10 per,
is it $10?
$10 per permit.
Yeah, we can look into that and the agreement, which we should have our attorney, maybe once we can work, draft something and have our attorney look at it and get that in the works. And then, yeah,
Once we get, yeah,
look at the potentially raising the fee, because it is, I mean, we are having to pay
Sure.
to clean this place and.
once we get it, our website, we can have it online to where they can fill out an application, and they can
Yes.
pay online, both. They'll be able
See,
to,
that's a really good.
yes, because I noticed several of them that haven't reserved, haven't paid a deposit yet. And so,
Well, do they have to prove that they're Cato residents? Is that how that works? Or
They're
can
supposed to.
anybody just
they're
rent it?
supposed to, but I don't know if they're monitoring that or not, you know, so.
Yeah, well, I think a lot other places, it's more to rent it if you're a non-resident. than a
Correct.
resident.
It is here too.
Right.
It is?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know
but
that.
I've rented it and they've never asked me if I was a Cato resident.
How much is it if you're a non-resident? I was under the impression it was always $50.
oh, it's 100 if you're non-resident.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, neither.
get all that squared away, and, but anyways, motions on, made and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries, so, I mean, you can, anybody that asks you going forward, it's, the board has only approved it for those, 2 community events that are happening. Okay, and then ZBA appointment, so, Ginger has been the alternate, and we are allowed to have a board member on the ZBA. She's been an alternate, and she's still willing, I'd like her to become the 3rd regular member until we can find someone, that hopefully, well, she wanna continue being a regular member. Like you don't have a zillion one things to do.
Lisa, they don't meet that often or haven't been, but
Yeah, it
Now
kinda
it's-
goes in spurts, yeah.
yeah, looks like we're gonna,
So she is willing to take that regular member position for the time being, until we can find someone else, and then she can move back to being an alternate. So I make a motion that we appoint Ginger Imhoff to the, open regular seat on the zoning board of appeals. Is there support for that?
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And then, anything else to come before the board before we go into final public comment? Okay, we'll open up to final public comment.
I don't know if David still has it or if Dave has it, but I was here when the guy that presented the tiny home communities presented the first time. So I have all the examples of what he's looking at. And it might be worth the board, the commission looking at those sizes so they can like gauge what their sizes would be like. Cause he has some really nice homes planned in there. So I do have them if you wanna see them, if you don't still have them.
I don't.
You don't?
Mine's filed somewhere. deep
Well,
in the
I do
files.
have them, so if you want me to give them to you,
Did
I'll.
he just hand them out?
Yeah.
He handed out a whole packet of examples of the tiny homes that he wants to put in there.
Everybody got it?
To everybody on the board got one, but
I can look.
Phil's gone. And Joe wasn't here, I don't think.
Joe was there.
Joe
Joe was here, so maybe Joe might have something,
Yep.
and Dave might have something, but
If you,
Jordan doesn't have anything.
it's
Yeah.
nice to know ahead of time.
yeah, check in. If you don't have it, then maybe.
What's that?
Came to the planning commission.
He came to the planning commission and did a presentation and had all pictures of all the different types of tiny homes he was looking at putting in there. So it might be
Is
worth
this-
looking at it.
Where like behind the bank there?
No.
No.
next to
Oh,
that
out on
site,
46
You know where they,
before Fitzner
I don't
Road.
remember what they call that.
Tamarack Meadows.
Larry Gilbert's property.
Yeah, behind Larry's house.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's
Yeah.
trying to develop that, but he's gonna like break it up into a lot smaller.
He had some pretty nice homes that he wanted to put in there. I thought they were pretty nice.
Yeah, let's see if we have them, if not, we'll reach out, get them from you
And
guys.
with our aging community,
Oh, yeah.
that's.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we just
I've
need
talked to a
our
lot of
aging
people that have
house.
like thought that would be a
Yeah,
great thing to
yeah.
have.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I could move out of my house that a family could live in.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know, if I had someplace
To go.
smaller to move into that was convenient, and I know there's a lot more like me.
That's what, I don't know if the zoning would have to change to have a smaller square footage, or can you do a dimensional variance, you know, let them.
Well,
That'd be
he's,
a lot of variances for one.
he's gonna
after
have to
another.
get they're gonna have to do an ordinance for this, cause he wants to build a whole community of these things. And right now, the township says you cannot put a house that small in the township. So they're gonna have to do something with, either change the size of the buildings homes that they can build, or put in a special ordinance for tiny homes.
All right, thank you.
You could probably do a variance on the whole development.
On
Yeah,
development,
make
right?
it one full,
Yes.
yes.
On development.
And that would kind
So
of
that they
take
don't
care of
pop
that
up all
problem.
over the place.
That being said, is it gonna be homes that are gonna be sold, or are they gonna be rental homes?
They're homes that are gonna,
be
he was gonna be,
I think the planning commission.
he was
definitely
proposing
wants to
homes that
spell
were gonna be
out.
sold. They're gonna actually buy the lot that these homes are
Yeah,
sitting
before-
on.
Before we start talking variances, that's a.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm
That's-
just saying for you, David, you wanna spell
Yeah.
that out in
I
the
always
ordinance.
hesitate when we're like, oh, we could ask for a variance, because criteria has to be met to get a variance, so,
Mhm.
anyways, just a caution on that, so.
That's my final public comment.
That's your public comment. Anybody else?
I got nothing.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Support? Second. Okay, motion made, supported, further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?